You're like, yeah, man, that's not bad, right?
You can't stop me.
I didn't think you'd know that.
Of course.
Right?
The old school rap is where I'm at. That's where I live.
Anytime that stuff comes back, it just kind of flashes you back to when we were younger and causing a lot more trouble.
No, not me.
No, not you. Oh, I know. No, you've never been in any trouble.
I was on my way in and I heard you a commercial for Rockies and Palmer, and it was like the steel chainsaw, steel train chainsaw expert. Can you say that 5 times in a row?
The steel chainsaw expert.
Steel train chainsaw expert.
He's a steel train chainsaw guy. Steel train chainsaw guy. What are you trying to do to me right now? James Stevenson from Precision Auto Repair in West Springfield. What's going on, man?
Yeah, just
anything new
waiting
in your
for
life?
waiting for the warm weather.
Yeah?
Which should be pretty nice.
You're gonna be out on your boat or what? We were just talking about your pontoon boat.
Oh man, you know the boat is a really really good time. I definitely don't get out on it enough, but like you should get one.
Well, we were just talking about coming off the camping and RV show. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm walking around, man. It's not a lot of money to get into a boat. We were talking about trailers,
Yeah.
campers as well, and I'm right on the edge there. It's one or the other coming into the springtime, and I'm leaning toward a boat because I love to fish.
They don't mess around. Well, I mean, you can get both, right? You can get a boat with a cabin.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You can get
too.
a boat with a cabin, and then I think you can write that off. You might want to ask an accountant, but you can write that off like a property.
Well, I mean, it's a business expense. I would put Pat Kelly on the side of it, and that way when I'm out,
Obviously.
it's like an advertising
Yeah,
thing. So
yeah, obviously. I take clients out on my boat all the time.
that's a business expense. Well done, buddy. All right, so we're taking car care questions for the next who knows how long. James drops in around this time every Tuesday from Precision Auto Repair in West Springfield. And you can shoot off your questions to us. Log on to Precision Auto Repair's Facebook page, or you can even log on to our website, Lazer99.3.com or precisionautorepair.biz.
That's it.
And drop it right there. You want to get right into it?
You got. Oh, you know what? Too. I was watching that curling.
Oh, yes.
So last week you were like, "Oh man, I love the curling," and I'm
Yeah.
sitting here listening, and I'm like, "What is Pat talking? The curling is the worst."
Right.
You know, like these guys, they look like us. They're not like athletes. You
No,
know?
they're not.
But now I can't stop watching the curling. The curling is incredible. They can move that thing around.
Right, with the
sweeping
brushes.
and everything, it's
Well,
incredible.
They get the little curl on it. They get the little
That's
twist on
awesome.
it at the end, and it's so slow. That's the thing. Like, how do they, that huge, long strip of ice,
Yeah.
how do you judge a big 40-pound rock is going to just make it on ice?
It's incredible.
It is incredible.
I think that, and then the skeleton. I feel like I could do those. Just go sledding down the hill really fast.
Those guys are out of their minds. On the
Yeah.
skeleton?
The poor girl from Suffield, though, she crashed.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Well, at least she got back up. She had a good attitude about it. They asked her if she was hurt. She said no. She said just my ego or something like that.
Right.
I can understand that.
Well played. I love the Olympics are almost done now here, right? What do we have left? Hockey? Is it hockey?
I don't know. A couple things.
We'll keep you updated there. Can we get into it?
Oh man.
All right, let's get right to it. We're taking questions right now. This first one comes from Jason in Springfield, who drives an 02 Ford. Oh boy. The question starts out with, "My boy looked at my truck," and I feel like we should just stop right there, but I'll keep going.
Go to the next question.
My boy looked at my truck and told me that the cat needs to be replaced. The catalytic converter he's talking about here, right?
Exactly.
The cat needs to be replaced because the truck runs like hell and smells like eggs. Dude's been how did he just spell mechanic?
He
right
didn't. He didn't say hell, Pat.
Oh, I know.
And then he spelled mechanic, M-A-K-A-N-I-K.
Yeah,
so
mechanic.
That's all right.
His dude's been a mechanic forever, and he's got mad tools. Problem is he talking about the guy's coworkers? Mad tools. Problem is he can't get it because he got tons of other work to do. I called a bunch of places, but no one will give me a price. Can you people at Precision tell me how much it's going to be to replace my cat? I really need the truck, and it's barely running. Please help.
Despite the poor spelling here, Jason, we actually had him come into the shop. He had called after he had sent the question, and we brought,
no.
Yeah, so he was actually a really, really nice kid. A really, really nice kid. I think he was just probably in a rush.
Sorry,
And,
Jason. We weren't trying to make fun of you guys.
He was actually a really, really nice kid.
Okay.
So we brought it in, and we wanted to actually get a look at this vehicle. What we find a lot of times is, and I would say this is probably the most asked thing, right? Like, how much is it to replace this, or how much is it to fix that? And the reality is, like, it's tough. Like, if you don't know, it's like me asking you how many fingers I'm holding up, my hands under the table. You know, like,
Right.
you can guess, and eventually maybe you'll get it right, but the problem is when somebody calls up, you don't know if they just don't know the right questions to ask. Like, hey, what's the process to finally get to the root cause of this and then determine what the cause is going to be? Or are they just calling around to 50 different places, price shopping, looking for somebody to give them the price? If you're calling around looking to just ultimately get a price, the problem is someone's going to give you a price, and you're going to bring the vehicle in and replace the catalytic converter, and you're going to pay, I think in this case, like a catalytic converter is like $1,000 or something for this truck. You're going to find a shop that's going to put that catalytic converter in for you, and after they put the catalytic converter in, they're going to say, hey, Pat, your truck still doesn't run. We need to now properly diagnose it, and they just got you for $1,000 that doesn't, like, it never needed to be done. So, you know, our process isn't, maybe it's not like everybody else's, right? And I know most shops operate kind of like we do. We want to figure out what's wrong with the car or the truck or whatever it is, the vehicle, before we actually give a price. And in this case, what we wanted to do, we tried to explain that to him on the phone, and we told him that we would take a look at it. We got the vehicle in, and what was happening was the vehicle was just misfiring. So you need three things for a vehicle to run. You need air, you need fuel, you need spark, you need all the cylinders to all be running properly, and in this case, he had two cylinders that weren't. There were these little things called ignition coils. They're what basically send the spark to the spark plug for the most part. It's a real short definition of what they do. Ended up costing him $235. He was basically begging us for a $1,000 repair, and
Right.
his repair was $235. So it's very important. Like, it's great to do your research and everything, and ask your buddy, and I'm sure your friends have a lot of experience. But I can tell you that we do this survey. The only year we didn't really do it was last year, but the 2 years prior we did this survey, and we wanted to see how many people were actually correct. All right, were we too strict with our policy of not giving prices over the phone? Was the customer correct most of the time? And the results for those surveys are on our website, but I can give you kind of the short answer that out of like the hundreds of people that we surveyed, it was only like one or two that were ever correct. And I mean, a broke clock is right twice a day. So, but yeah, and I'm not even really trying to make a joke about that one. The thing is, if we would have done all of those repairs that people call up for, and they say, hey, look, like I'm insistent that you do that. I'm insistent that you do this. I've done my research. I know what's wrong with it. I don't need you to diagnose it. And you do that type of repair, like we would have had a lot of people that are pretty upset if you just did those repairs without actually checking the vehicles over, because you would have been giving people a lot of bills for things that weren't going to fix their vehicle.
No, and out of fairness to Jason, I've heard this as well. Like, you get that sulfury smell right
Exactly,
away.
yeah.
It's the catalytic converter.
Yeah.
Right away.
And even if you have a misfire, sometimes you can have like what's called a trouble code, right? So when your check engine light comes on, the computer for the engine in this case would store a sequence of numbers, right? That's called a trouble code, or a DTC, a data trouble code. From there, what that does, it kind of points at an area. It says, hey, Pat, the issue's over here or over there, and it's up to a technician to actually figure it out. In this case, the truck will store a code for the catalyst, right? The catalytic converter, saying that it's not doing what it needs to do, but you need to figure out why. Is it just clogged up? Do you have bad O2 sensors? Do you have a vacuum leak? Do you have a fuel system issue? Whatever. So sometimes you need to start by replacing things that you know are bad first, right? Okay, we know we've got a CAT code. We know we've got O2 codes, but we also know that we've got two cylinders that are misfiring, and it's going to create a lot of soot and sulfur, and it's not going to be a nice clean burn. So it's going to mess with our readings. It's going to mess with the way the vehicle's running. So you need to fix that stuff and then go further. I can tell you that in all the years I've been doing this, I don't think I've ever had a customer upset that we've come at them with a bill that was less than what they thought it was going to be, ever.
Right.
So in this case, it was just, hey, look, and again, he was a really, really nice kid, Jason. He's a very smart kid too. I'm surprised that the other spelling was so off. Like, really, really nice, really smart kid. But anyway, so, we explained it to him. Look, we got to replace what we know is bad first, and then, we'll drive it, and then we'll see where we're at. Because if we just put a cat in it, even if we just put a cat in it, let's say the cat was bad, the cat's just going to continue to go bad if the vehicle is going to continue to run rough and misfire like that, and it's not going to solve, any of his problems. it's just gonna waste his money, and that doesn't make anybody happy.
So you saved them some future visits over to your shop. Now, is that do you feel that you're lucky when that happens? Like, so you go about diagnosing things as you go along. Were you, when you got this, when you made the repair for him, were you happy that it was like one of the first things that you had to address? Is that pretty typical, or do you sometimes have to go deeper with it?
Sometimes you can have an issue that's a little bit further down the line, and the best way that I can explain this is that the computer will check all of the systems in the engine as you're driving, and there's checks that get done on other parts. We're just talking about the engine right now, and what happens is after the checks are complete, the engine computer will set a good code, and it's called readiness. And that basically means that it went through all the checks and everything is exactly how it needs to be. And that's one way that we can check our work. And that's also how they check for mass state inspections now. When they used to put it up on the big machine and they put that metal probe in the exhaust, they don't really, they do that, but they don't, it's just, they're looking for readiness now. All right, because the cars are, just tuned a certain way now. The parameters are a lot more, it's just a lot more strict, right? So anyways, back to the point, they want to make sure that readiness is set. Now, if an engine computer, say, sees a problem, if it's, figuratively speaking, if it's testing, say, steps 1 through 10, all right, and then it sees a problem at 2, it's, in a lot of cases, it's not going to test 3 through 10, it's just going to stop right there. It may not see an issue further down the line. So that number 2 may cause an issue with 6, 7, 8, 9, and you may have codes for that. You know what I mean? So it may it may create other issues that aren't there. So you really need to start by repairing like known bad things. You don't want to necessarily, unfortunately, go to a parts store and they pull the codes and they say, well, Pat, you need a catalytic converter, and it's going to be X amount of dollars, and you and your buddy try to put that thing in, or you call around, like you're going to waste a lot of time doing that. In this case, this guy legitimately would have spent $1,000, maybe a little bit more, and it was just two ignition coils.
You say they
so
made $100.
It wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know if it makes us feel good. I mean, what makes us feel good is just obviously fixing the vehicle, and the guy's happy. To prove him wrong, like, that doesn't make us feel good, but unfortunately, this was just what happened here. But Jason was a really, really nice kid. I'm surprised that his spelling was awful. Did you see he wrote because, and it was B''. Cuz, C-A-U-S-E. He was such a nice kid, such a smart kid.
Instead of putting the E in there, he put an apostrophe.
Oh, Jason.
Right.
Jason.
We're hanging out with James Stevenson of Precision Auto Repair in West Springfield. Welcome to Boys Under the Hood. We do this every Tuesday morning right around this time, taking your car care questions. And one of the themes that we've talked about here in the past is don't call a mechanic and ask them what the price of something's going to be. Really, that's the bottom line. You want to eyeball the thing at least, right?
We had somebody call yesterday, and it's almost a comical call because it's more than one person. And I happened to answer the phone. Hey, thanks for calling Precision Auto. This is James. Yeah, I got this noise, and it's only there when I'm on the highway. Okay, great. You ask a little bit more information. You want to make the call personal. Who am I speaking to? Whatever. Okay, Pat, I'm James. Whatever. Yeah, I don't care about that. What's wrong with the car? Well, I don't know, man. We'd really need to take a look at it. Well, how much is it going to be to fix it? Well, I don't really know what's wrong with it. Well, how do you not know? Don't you work on these things? Like, you get somebody like that once in a while, they kind of suck the life. I just hang up on them.
I was going to say, like,
I don't listen to it. There's no reason. There's no reason for that.
You're having a bad day with a phone call like that comes in.
No, they're not. 99% of the people that call are just polite. They're really nice people. Every once in a while, you get somebody. I don't deal with it. I don't listen to it. I don't respond well to that. I don't treat people like that either. So it doesn't register in my head why someone would speak to somebody that way.
Well, that's what you do, isn't it? What do you mean you don't know, James?
Oh my goodness!
I just told you it sounded like, and it happens on the highway. It happens on the highway, and you have no idea what it is.
Yeah, somebody like that, like they're going to call around to 10, 12, 15 places, but like I said before, the problem is eventually they're going to get a price.
How often do people call up and try to imitate the sound that's coming from their car, like I just did?
Never.
They don't do
Never.
that? Because I've done, I mean, not recently, but I've done that when I've called a mechanic. I'm like, yeah, my car's going. Any idea?
No, I think maybe I think women are definitely smarter customers than men. I could say that, and I think that our and maybe this is just our shop, but our women customer base is just smarter, and sometimes they'll try to like articulate a noise like that, and they'll try to give you as much information as possible. Where maybe the guy comes in, he was like, oh yeah, I don't know anything about it. It just started making the noise, and you get in there, and like half of the car was already rebuilt, and you're trying to chase down an issue. You know what I mean?
Right.
But women, I think they'll try to give you as much information as possible, and it sometimes can be comical when they try to make the noise. But it's a joke between the two of you because they realize it's kind of funny and
right.
Yeah, I don't know, but once in a while, not as much as you would think though.
It's Boys Under the Hood. This is James Stevenson from Precision Auto Repair. Let's do another question. This comes from Scott in East Long Meadow, who's driving a 2010 Ford F-150 Lariat. He says he's got a couple issues. The interior builds up condensation. Case in point, I had to scrape the interior of my windshield this morning. What's this, and how do I fix it? The second part, my heating and cooling seats are not working. I had a scanner read the codes, and it says the heated seat has shorted out. But why would the cooling feature not work either? How much would Precision charge to repair the heater?
Here we go.
Yep, there it is.
All right, so we can help answer a portion of your question, but I obviously don't know what's wrong with it, so I can't tell you how much that's going to be. I can tell you that your AC doesn't work, and that's why you have condensation on your windshield. The AC not only helps cool the air, but it also takes moisture, takes the humidity out. So without that AC working, even when it's 10 degrees out, 20 degrees out, it's not going to pull that condensation, that moisture off the windshield. That also works with your cooling seats. So if your AC is not working, your cooling seats are not going to work. Your heating seats are probably not working because the grid may be shorted. I believe on that truck there's a problem with those grids, so you may want to actually have somebody take a look at that for you. You most likely have two issues. As for price, again, I don't know.
I wish sometimes that this were TV, because just the look on your face when someone asks what a price is, it's like for the 400th time someone has asked you, you're just like, don't.
No, I mean, it's again, it's sometimes it can be a logical question. You need to understand, is somebody asking for a price? Do they legitimately, is that all they care about is price? Right?
Now, if someone calls
you just need a number.
But someone calls you for an oil change, you'll give them a price, right?
Of course, yeah, because
you want an oil
it's
change,
just a
we'll give you
basic
price.
service.
Right.
Exactly, yeah. Something like that. Some brake jobs, it's pretty easy to quote, especially for existing customers. Existing customers get a lot more information than maybe a new customer. It's not because we want to deter new customers. We just don't know your vehicle. We don't know the history of it. We don't know the condition of it. We don't know anything. If I give you a price on brakes on your car, Pat, and then you bring it in, we take a look at it and we find that all the brake lines are rotted, and maybe you've got like a seized up caliper, or you're missing your e-brake cables or something like that. Like, the price that we gave you is now going to change because the scope of work is going to change.
Right.
But then we got you in the door because we said, hey Pat, it's going to be $10 to fix this, and you bring it in based on the price that we give you. Now all of a sudden you get in and the bill is $15, and then you go online and you say, well, Precision ripped me off because they gave me a price for $10, and so we don't want any part of that at all. Like, if you want us to look at your vehicle, we look at the vehicle, but we need to, we got to have our guys take a look at it. If you want us to stand behind it, you know what I mean? If you want me to give you a price on brakes, and you want me to stand behind that price, and you want me to ensure that whatever the noise that you were making, right, is gone, then we got to figure that out. Like, it's tough to do that if your buddy that's a mechanic that doesn't have the time or the tools or whatever, if he looked at it but then didn't really look at it. Like, we just don't know that stuff. So again, just to kind of control the process from beginning to end so we can control the outcome, really need to see the vehicle.
Now, I want to talk about, just for a second, because you said the condensation builds up. I read an article, and this was last week, that the best way to defrost your windshield is to actually turn the heat on, but then to also turn the AC on as well.
Well, the AC is going to go on when the defroster is on. You could turn the heat, so you can have your heat setting on, and then once you turn your defroster on, the AC is automatically going to come on. If what you're talking about is, I'm sorry, when you turn the defroster on the AC, I don't think I just said that right. When you turn the defroster on, the AC is automatically going to turn on. It's part of the the defroster.
Wow.
Now,
way to make a guy feel like a jerk.
wow. No, I didn't.
No. I didn't know that. I
didn't-
thought I physically had to reach over and turn the AC
No,
on.
no,
as well.
it should just turn on. I mean, if what you're talking about is you just want to take a lot of moisture out of the air,
Right.
the defroster will do that too, because it's just going to recirculate that air.
Okay.
You know, it's going to keep pulling the moisture out of it. You don't have to feel silly.
No,
Pat.
I'm right. You're listening to Boys Under the Hood, hanging out with James Stevenson from Precision Auto Repair in West Springfield. We will be right back with more car care questions.
With James Stevenson and Pat Kelly.
It makes me feel a little bit naughty, that song, a little bit. I mean, not with you in the room, don't get me wrong, but I was just...
You're into it.
Sorry, I was doing my dance moves there. Welcome back to Boys Under the Hood. Pat Kelly, James Stevenson from Precision Auto Repair in West Springfield. We are taking car care questions. Let's get right to it. This question comes from Ludlow. I didn't see the name on this one, James.
Evan.
Evan. This is from Evan in Ludlow. He drives a 2003 Honda Accord. He writes, I first want to say that I immensely enjoy your show. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Evan. That's nice.
We appreciate that. There's been a need for something like this for years, and I'm happy you filled that void. Next, my car's been making a crazy noise for a while. I don't want to be that my mechanic guy because I'm annoyed by other people that say that, but I bought my car into my regular shop 2 times for this issue. They found nothing. Then I went to another shop where it's currently at, and they told me that one of the brake calipers is bad, which caused my brakes to wear out. I asked on my Facebook if anyone had any suggestions, and a whole bunch of people tagged you, so I was hoping you could give me some advice. Just seems weird that one shop says one thing and another says something completely different. Thanks again. I love that the people on Facebook are turning other people onto your business too.
I think it's just a natural reaction that people want to help other people, right? And
Yeah.
if they know somebody, they tag them. I think Facebook is great. You know, all social media I think is really good for that type of thing. Finding recommendations for mechanic, plumbers, carpenters. You know, where should I go to eat? That type of thing. I think that's terrific. But it's great. It's great that you reached out, Evan. So seeing is believing, right? Have the shop that the car is at just show you what's going on. Either they can give you pictures or just go there if the car's already there. Have them show you what's going on with it. That's simple. You know, help them or have them help you understand what's going on. If they say that something's bad, have them just show it to you. I mean, don't waste a lot of their time and don't torture the people. But if you know you had somebody look at the vehicle 2 times and now another shop says these things are bad, then show me. It'll just be that simple. You know, we have stuff like that frequently. You know, where somebody comes to us for a second opinion, and we either send them pictures. We have a digital inspection system, so we can just, you know, it creates a nice report. Or in other cases, if the customer's there, we just walk them out. Hey, Pat, you know, this is, you know, what's wrong with this, and this is what's going on, and this is how this failed, and you kind of show them that, you know, whatever's failed, and help them put their finger on it so that they fully understand what's going on and what they're purchasing. There's no way, even if you called them now and you said, you know what, go ahead, the car's there, I'm stuck, I need the repair done, you're going to have buyer's remorse, guaranteed. You know, because you're going to feel like you just don't really know if you should have spent that money or not. You'll, even if that is the best place around and they're totally honest, they give you the best price, you're never going to feel good about that purchase. Just make them show you, you know, what's going on with that. I think that's pretty simple. And if for some reason they can't show you, don't want to show you, then, you know, you got your answer right there.
While we're on this, what does a brake caliper do in the
Brake
whole
caliper,
braking system?
So you've got your brake pedal, you step on your brake pedal. And again, this is a dumbed down version of it, right? You step on the brake pedal. There's a couple other things that go on, but the brake pedal basically pushes the fluid through all the brake lines. And the fluid pushes these big pistons, right? They're called calipers. The calipers, what they do is they press the brake pad against those metal discs. Like, you ever look inside your wheels, you ever walk by your truck and you look inside the wheels and you see those metal discs? Well, there's like that little bracket looking thing on there.
Yeah.
Yep, and there's going to be a piston in there. There'll be the 2 brake pads, and it'll push the brake pads against those discs. So sometimes those calipers, the piston can fail. Sometimes there's these little things on there called slides. Sometimes those fail. I mean, there's a bunch of little things that could go wrong with them. But, you know, any good brake inspection will obviously include an inspection of the caliper, and that stuff will be very cut and dry. So you don't need any mechanical experience to understand what somebody is showing you in that case. Like, hey, look, this one moves, this is supposed to move this way, and this one doesn't. Or this one, see how it's not leaking fluid? And this one is completely wet and it's soaked with fluid. It should be a very, very simple thing for any shop to show them. And again, if somebody is, this kind of applies to used cars too. So you get a lot of people that call and they say, hey, look, I'm buying a used car. Can you do an inspection on it? And that's great. A lot of people come to us because like our techs we're really, really thorough, and a lot of shops are, but I know that we are. So we get a lot of these used car inspections. And while we're not trying to throw like a used car dealer under the bus, sometimes they just don't know that the car has a problem, right? Maybe somebody just looked at the brakes and just checked the lights and then the car was good to go, but now they've got an issue with some major component somewhere. So we do a lot of these inspections. Anytime a dealership says no, you can't inspect the car, just don't buy the car right then and there. That's it. You got your answer. Car's the wrong car. And it's the same thing with mechanics. If somebody's not willing to show you, now I can understand if there's a time constraint. Pat, I call you at 9 a.m. I say, Pat, you got to call us back because I get your voicemail. And now we have to put your vehicle back together, right? We put the wheels back on it. We pull the car out of the shop. And you call at 10:30 and you say, hey, look, can you show me that stuff, what's going on? And maybe we didn't take pictures or something. So now we got to pull the car back in and kind of show you what's going on. Now that I can understand, right? Totally understandable. But if you're there and the vehicle's on the lift and you say, hey, look, can you show me what's going on with this? Just help me understand. Like I'm a carpenter. I don't know anything about cars. And they say, no, no, we're not going to bring you out. No, we're not going to show you. Just find another shop right then and there.
Yeah.
Seeing is believing. Let them prove it to you.
You're listening to Boys Under the Hood, joined by James Stevenson from Precision Auto Repair in West Springfield. Every Tuesday, right around this time, you can submit your car care questions at his Facebook page, Precision Auto Repair's Facebook page, or precisionautorepair.biz. Or you can do it on our website too, lazer99.3.com. And I should mention this as well. If you want to text me or email me questions, I can always funnel them through. We can talk about them here. We've got one more. This is from Nicole in Somers, Connecticut, who drives a 2018 Mercedes. She writes, so my husband is my mechanic, and I think he plays pranks on me when he gives me answers about my car. So over under 10, how many potholes can I hit before I actually need an alignment? Now,
You got to read the PS.
P.S. I'm way over 10.
So this is my wife.
Do you give her just false answers just to be funny?
Sometimes.
That is so great.
Yeah, sometimes.
That is so great. Which direction though? Will you make something that is small look like, oh my god, can't believe that's happening?
It just depends on the mood, like spur of the moment. Like if she's mad at me because I didn't pick up my laundry or something like that, then no, I'll probably give her a straight answer, But if it's just a normal Tuesday morning, yeah, she's getting punked.
All right, before we talk about this answer, can we talk about the doll? Remember the doll, the story that you told me?
Oh my goodness.
I don't think it's too long.
That poor thing. So my mom got our oldest daughter this doll for her birthday, and this doll was maybe like 3 feet tall. It was kind of the size of a child, and it was just like it looked like an innocent like ballerina doll. It was like a little creepy looking, but whatever. So my daughter loved this little doll, and she's got this playroom, and there was a chair in the corner of the playroom, and I was walking by the playroom in the morning one morning, and this doll is sitting there, and it looked like a creepy little person, and it kind of, it startled me. So I flip on the light, and I see it's just this creepy doll, and immediately it's like a light bulb goes off. I'm like, I gotta get Nicole with this thing,
Right.
So I take the doll, and I put the doll in her closet. She's got this walk-in closet, and I put the doll in the corner of the closet, facing the corner of the closet.
Right.
Just sitting there, So I get home from work, and the doll is moved, and the doll is back in the playroom. So I know that she saw the doll, but she didn't say anything to me about it. She probably just thought, Madison had left the thing there. So, she hadn't gotten home from work yet, so I'm like, I gotta mess with her again. So now I put it in the same corner in her closet, and again, it's facing, it's facing the wall, and it's sitting there. It was real creepy looking, even after I had put it there, it kind of gave me the creeps a little bit. So she comes home, and she goes to get changed, and you hear her kind of like stomping down the stairs. I'm like, her name's Nicole, I call her Nick. I'm like, Nick, what happened? What's wrong? And she says, she goes, this doll, Madison put it in my room, she says, and in her changing room or whatever. She goes, Madison put it in there, and I could have swore I moved it earlier, and I don't know. It was back up there.
So at this point, she's questioning herself right now.
She's questioning what if she had moved it or not, and she did.
Right.
So she's questioning if she had moved it or whatever, and the thing was still, it obviously, she had put it away, and then I had put it back. So I'm making her feel a little bit crazier, So I'm like, wow, that's weird, Like you got a lot going on, you probably just had forgotten,
right?
So naturally now she goes and she's taking a shower, and I take the doll and I put the doll back in the room again in the same corner. So the story went south from there. I think the doll ended up in the trash, and
but that will creep someone out if you.
It was a creepy doll.
What was he? What was it? What was the movie at the end where the girl's facing the
Annabelle.
wall?
Annabelle. Blair Witch.
No, the Blair Witch
Dude,
Project, right?
Don't even talk about Blair Witch.
Look, dolls facing corners of anything. My palms are sweating right now because I've just listened to your story, knowing it's fake. If that had happened to me, and I opened my closet,
your forehead's sweating like you were just eating hot buffalo wings or something.
Yeah. Sorry about that. But I'm happy to hear that you torture your wife in that regard. I mean,
she didn't find it as funny.
Of course she didn't.
If she's listening now, like she's still not finding it.
That is so great.
As comical as I did.
Was it hard to not tell her? I mean, you had to just be getting a huge level of satisfaction.
Well, the whole thing at night unraveled. I kind of forgot about it when I got home.
Right.
And the whole thing kind of unraveled over the course of like maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Like she had gotten home, I moved the doll back. You know what I mean? So it all happened pretty quick. But she didn't enjoy it.
That is so
she
great.
didn't. I think I've told the story to a couple people, obviously a lot now, but everybody else seemed to think it was funny except for her. Sorry, Nicole, if you're listening.
That's great. Okay, so that's such a great thing. Okay, so let's get back to her question. Now, obviously, there are a lot of potholes around here.
One pothole can throw you out. So you don't necessarily need the over/under. She's hilarious, but one pothole can throw you out because some of them are small, some of them are big. Sometimes the small ones can throw it out. Different things can shift, different things can bend. You can break components. I was reading a survey, I think it was maybe a year ago. I don't remember who did it or anything, but I read it on the internet, so that's obviously true. But it said something like 90% of cars in New England are out of alignment. We see a lot of cars. I don't know that we see 90% that are out because it's very easy to check alignment on a machine. You can check the measurements and everything. But sometimes you can drive your car and the wheel may be straight and the alignment still may be out. The tires can wear a little bit funny and things like that. So it's definitely something that you want to get checked. I can tell you that if your alignment is out a little bit now, it may not be the best idea. And I know that this is probably not the best advice to give, or I don't know, maybe it is. If your alignment is just a little bit out right now, you may want to wait until some of these potholes start getting filled over the next couple weeks to actually get your alignment fixed again. If it's way out, then you've obviously got a problem. But if the alignment is out, and what that is, it's the angles that the tires hit the road. So it'll change. I mean, you can see it in some cases. It'll hurt gas mileage. It'll change the way the car sounds when it's driving on the highway.
If it's real bad, it'll be almost a wobbly sound,
yeah,
right?
It can be wobbly. Yeah, it can sound thumpy. It can the thump thump thump, right, all the little noises, right? So there can be a lot of things. But if it's just a little bit out, and I'm not, you got to really use your discretion or trust the shop that you're bringing it to. But if it's just a little bit out, you might want to just wait a couple weeks, because we've had people drive for a day and then come back and say, you know what, I was driving down the street, that one big pothole down there, and I hit that thing. Or there was like a crater on Route 5 a couple weeks ago in West Springfield. I know they had filled that thing in a couple times this winter. We saw a couple people that had hit that one. It just would stink if you had just paid for an alignment and then, in a couple weeks, you need to do it again. So if it's just a little bit out, you may be able to wait a couple weeks. If it's way out or it's going to cause a problem, it's going to cause damage, it's going to cause you a bigger problem down the road, then obviously you want to get that taken care of. If it's a safety issue that's causing the alignment to be out, obviously you want that stuff fixed too, safety first. But Nicole, come on, pay attention. What are you doing?
You're listening to Boys Under the Hood. This is James Stevenson of Precision Auto Repair. We do this every Tuesday right around this time, and really, at the end of the day, all we're trying to do is help you. I would suggest you see James. I know the kind of business and the kind of work that he does. He's very, very particular about stuff. when it comes to cars and your safety. And also, we found out today, if you're looking for a fun way to torture your wife, James,
I can write
James,
a book on that one.
He's got new ones that Nicole hasn't even seen yet. So, a pleasure hanging out with you, man.
Thanks, Pat.
We'll do it again on Tuesday.
thanks for kind
You
words.
want to give out $25 to the question of the week?
We do.
You can't. You can't.
We're not gonna
you
give it
can't-
to,
you can't give it
Nicole.
to your wife.
No, she's not. I
No.
mean, she definitely deserves a hug after the story about the doll. But
That's my favorite, man. I'm gonna try that one. I can do that to my sister too. I can do that to a lot of people.
with the doll,
Yeah, hell yeah.
Dude, that doll is so creepy. The doll's thrown away. The doll's like gone.
Oh, sure it is. Like in Annabelle, where they threw it in the garbage and then it came knocking on the door 15 minutes later.
That was a weird movie, man.
Mhm.
Why don't we give it to Evan today?
Yes, we like Evan. It was a good question.
Yeah, great question, Evan. Thank you also for the compliment too. That's it.
Cool, man.
Congratulations, Evan.
You can submit your questions at James's Precision Auto Repair Facebook page, also precisionautorepair.biz, and you can even log on to lazer993.com and dump it on there. Boys in the Hood every Tuesday here on Lazer.